Welcome to Off the Stage Podcast.
And believe it or not, there was a soundboard.
Yeah.
You just can't hear it. Welcome back to Off the Stage Podcast with me, Conor Michael. This is James Berry, and this time we have Ellen Moss, the band. So, welcome on board, guys.
Hi, everyone.
This is our third recording today, and you're going to be our first one with a public audience. So, try not to let that put you off.
It's like the red carpet, really.
Yeah,
it's all good.
That's it, yeah. So, first question for the pod. Who are you, and what do you do in the band?
I'll let you go first.
Oh, thank you so much. So my name's Aidan. I do some of the singing in the band. We kind of do 50-50 split. I also play the bass, but I write some of the songs as well, I guess. We're the two members that have stayed since the inception of the band.
Okay.
So I know we and Ellen Moss, I guess. I don't know. But there's other people in the band as well.
There is. You also run Clear Landlord Records,
Yes.
I've heard that.
Yeah.
I heard that on the streets.
I've heard that on the streets. So I'm Lewis. I do guitar, vocals, and synth in the band.
Okay.
And I also do some of the songwriting with Aidan. And I also run Clear Landlord Records with Aidan as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's supposed to be what we sound like when we like, we're a duo, but we're also on a podcast.
Yeah, I know, I must buy.
So you mentioned you've got other members in the band.
Yeah.
What else is in the band?
We tend to run as a 4-piece, don't we?
Yeah.
Every now and then we're a 3-piece, depending on members, but usually it's standard rock band, sort of 2 guitars, bass, drums.
Yeah.
We're very much like try to experiment with different kind of sounds based on like as we develop, and we kind of go, let's try something else, let's add a little colour. And so we'll often, when we play live, have like friends that will come on stage and do things like poetry or even like play instruments. Like we're starting to do something where we just give the instruments to the audience and things like that. So we really like to not have that disconnect of like we're on a stage and we're the performers and you're the audience watching us. We're very much like, no, we're in this all together, we're all here to have fun and to bring that energy. So although we don't do individual bits, we're very much like, we're happy to bring whatever to the band. We're very much moulded to whatever feels right.
Yeah.
And also, like, the longer we've done the band, the more that when we're on stage, I just want to dance and not do anything else. So if I can give a guitar to someone else, I'm free to dance for 3-4 minutes.
Yeah.
So happy as Larry.
That's not even a lie, that's genuinely true.
Good.
Yeah.
So how long has the band been a thing then?
2016 was our inception, as you can tell by this hand gesture.
Yeah.
It really is good for podcasts as well when you do visual gags as well.
We haven't got a camera.
So 2016, and then we had a bit of a hiatus, didn't we, with COVID and just life getting in the way.
Yeah.
And now we're back for Ellen Moss 2, Son of Moss, The Reckoning.
Yeah.
Ellen
Lord
Moss
of the
2, this time it's personal.
So where did the band name come from?
We always get asked this, every time. It was a lecturer that we knew at uni, and she was lovely, and she found out in the end, and we were worried that she'd be like really upset, but she thought it was the coolest thing ever.
Yeah.
She was like, I want to get all your merch, and she was like absolutely enamoured, and we were like, oh, happy days.
Yeah, really good.
But there's also like...
what kind of lecturer was she? What was studying?
So I did molecular biology, and she was doing like the ecology side of that. She was really lovely.
Yeah.
Can't speak highly enough of her. Absolute sweetheart.
I suppose why you made
Really
a band name.
music.
No. There's a reason we sound like the way we do, and that's because we don't study music.
Yeah, I was gonna say we're literally like behind it. There's no actual music like what would you call it, lessons or this that, and the other. We've just been playing for so long, and we all did like really kind of boring degrees. Like you did a microbiology degree, I did a maths degree, Sam did mechanical engineering. We used to have a doctor in the band. Like it's very much like
the
become a
highest
passion.
qualified podcast we've
Yeah,
had.
probably.
A passion project.
The stakes are high now. But I was gonna say, so like we're quite like, I think we'd define ourselves as a bit of like an arty band, and other arty bands I like are like named after people. So like one of my favourites is like Julia Brown. They used to do like lo-fi stuff. So I think way back when we were trying to decide on a name for ages, weren't we?
Yeah, and it kept coming up as like a meme.
Yeah,
where it was
joking.
like, ha ha ha, we'll call it Ellen Moss, ha ha ha, and then it was like, actually, that's the best idea we've come up with. But everyone always asks at gigs, "Where's Ellen?"
Yeah, they think that we're
Has she
her
been
back
to
in
any
band.
gigs before?
She said she was going to, and then she flaked out, And I'm not holding that against her.
Well, if you're watching this, Ellen, you're expecting to see it at the next gig.
I kind of hope she is, because that means she's a hardcore fan. She's been there since the
With
early
all the
days.
merch.
Oh,
the
yeah,
original drafts and all that.
Yeah, man.
Oh, excuse me, sorry.
Like every time we're at a gig and we're loading in, if there's like, especially when we're with other bands that we're close with, like whoever is doing the sound tech or whatever will always just point at like a lady and be like, "Are you Ellen?" And it's like every gig, without a doubt. It's almost like a script that we could like a bingo sheet we can just tick off.
You need to get like, you know, them paper masks and get her face on it and just walk on stage.
Oh,
with,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
"Where are the masks?" kind of thing, and watch that be like the first one she attends and be like, "What is this place?"
It's a cult. It's a cult.
We are a little bit culty, I'm not gonna lie.
So what sort of influences individually got you into music and obviously to the band that you're at now?
I'll let you go first again.
Oh my gosh, so he's such a gentleman, honestly. For me, I think that like I try not to be like very the word that I use is wanky about music, but basically how I like interpret it is like everything you've listened to molds who you are in your music. So even though I like point to certain people, it's very much not like, oh, I'm trying to copy them. It's like I get little colours from them and I bring that in. But I've always been a massive fan of the mix of art and music, especially in like a way that's posited at like the public. So things like Gorillaz and Radiohead, where you have that inception at the beginning of somebody like Stanley Donwood, who is like part of the band but doesn't actually play, and then you have like Damon Albarn and whatever the guy's name is, I can't remember, Jamie something, and where literally the inception of it is like, oh, we've got this really cool concept, we're going to build that sort of into the music and have these characters, and that's going to drive the music. But then from the musical side as well, like a lot of rock, a lot of like musical theatre, and you know, there's the standards like people like Queen and like Flea and like Rush, and you know, there's so many like people that I could go, I've taken a bit from them, but like I really love that expressiveness of music. And I think that a lot of rock is very nice to listen to, but maybe isn't as expressive, but where those really expressive people like Dave Grohl and things like that, where it's like very much you can feel the passion in the music. That's what I love. What about you, sweetie? What do you like?
When I first started getting into music and I learned to play guitar and stuff, I was really into like folk. I was like a hippie kind of, you know what I mean? So like Bob Dylan and Donovan and stuff like that. And then as I grew and matured and my tastes broadened.
It's like James's era, that.
Oh, is that your stuff?
Yeah,
It's good stuff though, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
You can't go wrong.
Probably humdinger folk singer, me, man. So.
Yeah.
It's the best ever folk rock band.
Yeah. It's the name of me band.
Nice. Bit of self-promo. Can't go wrong.
Honestly, the main reason we have the podcast. To tell people about the gigs we've got and then talk about other people.
Nice. So yeah, I started off doing like folk stuff, and as I sort of grew, I got really into like the punkier and artier side of things. Like Sonic Youth like blew my little mind. When I was 16, all I wanted to do was Sonic Youth, and we're kind of nearly there. And then I got into like hardcore punk and all this stuff, and you're like, anyone can do this, it's mint.
Yeah.
And that's like pretty much our entire ethos, so you know, it's definitely had like the biggest impact on me is just being a punk boy and being noisy.
Yeah. Mint. But obviously with you guys being the original members of the band, is it always just been you two that write the songs, or is it one of you that write the songs, or?
I think we are really good.
Yeah, go on.
I think we're really good at like, because we don't like live together or anything, so we don't see each other all the time, but when we see each other, especially in a creative context, I'll be like, oh, so like the last time I saw Aiden, I was like, I've got this, I played like a little chord progression, I was like, I really like it, I've got nothing else for it, and in the space of like 2 minutes we'd written one of our favourite songs ever, just because I think we're really good at completing other parts that we've got.
Yeah. I was gonna say like, especially for a
David Blake, that, and it's like
That's got to be part of your merch as well, by the way. Ellen Moss.
Yeah. It's definitely a cult. It's a cult.
Like we have always been of the idea, and maybe it comes from like a bit of what I was saying before about the art and music thing of like, we'll do whatever fits the music, whatever fits the art.
Yeah.
And very much we've said, you know, with every iteration or with whenever somebody else joins a band, it's never been the case of like, here's what we have, learn this, you know, like go away and learn this stuff. Sure, you've got to learn the songs, but like make it your own. And like you've got all the influences that you have and you're in this band and you're part of it and we're a unit. So we've always been like open to, like, we don't gatekeep our songs at all. If somebody's like, I don't like that, we're usually like, well, let's hear it. What do you have? And it usually comes out sounding better and the other way. So we've always made it a collaborative thing, and I think that's what music should be. It shouldn't just be one person. But all the solo artists who are now like, no. But I think collaboration is what makes it really fun.
Yeah. No, I get it. So just the final question for this part, which comes into songwriting. What would you say the most personal song is that you've written, and what's it about?
We've had a little chat about this because that's really, really difficult for us to answer, because almost every song we've written is based on like personal experiences that we've had, and the very few that aren't directly about personal experiences are about things that we're incredibly passionate about, like you know, anti-capitalism and like anarchism and you know, just being nice to each other. You know, those really radical concepts. I'm gonna keep doing it.
If you keep doing it, it's a thing.
Don't back down, double down.
Yeah.
For me personally, there's a song that we've not released yet. It's going to go on an EP that we're still working on called Living Miserably, and that one comes from like the depths of like the worst points in my life. All the most negative feelings I could possibly have felt all came up into like these songs, and I thought I'll put them together so that it's really unpalatable. It's that bad. But that's called Sight for Sore Eyes. That one definitely I feel a lot of like emotion with, and also we've got an album coming out on January 26th called Home, and there's a song that so half of our music's sort of ambient and the other half's more punky.
Okay.
So it's like the more ambient parts, and it was called Sleep, and I split it into two to bookend the EP.
Yeah.
And it's sort of, do you want the full story?
Yeah, go for it.
All right.
That's what the podcast is here for.
Okay.
2 hours later, 5 hours later.
They all
Cut one of the pods out, it's fine.
It all starts off when I was born.
And 9 months before.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
It was the stork puts the egg in the nest and then.
Which was I about? I was on about Sleep, the song. I remember. I'm a professional.
Yeah, I'm a professional. If I say it, it's true.
Yeah. So it's about a relationship I had, and it was the first time in my entire life that I felt loved and safe. And when I was sleeping next to this person, I slept like a baby. I've honestly never known sleep like it. And that's the lyrics to the first song is, I've never known sleep like the sleep I have next to you. So the first part, the opening to this EP, which is all about home as a concept and a place that can change with feelings and time and things that happen, was this like, you know, the best feeling I've ever had in my life. And the closing, like the part 2 to it, was that I lost that, and it's all about I'd give anything just to have that sleep again. So that's like a really, really personal song for me. And I'm glad that it's like, because I think historically people have pushed us away from doing other band members and things. They've not liked us opening and closing with ambient songs because it's not the grabby part of the album. But to me, that's the most important part of the album because that's the feeling. So I'm really glad that we're doing it like that. What about you? What's your personal songs?
So there's one which will be coming later on, which I won't talk too much about, but basically the whole thing is me just processing some grief, and like that is so personal. It's called My Little Girl, and it will be like on one of the later things, and that's really, really personal, but it kind of speaks for itself, so I won't really say much about it. But basically it's like the direct result of like processing your own emotions through song. But Lewis spoke a bit about like newer stuff, so I'm going to go to the older stuff. There's a song that we released in 2018 that we've had for a while, maybe since 2017, called The Cycle, which you can hear on like Spotify and stuff. But it's effectively about the cyclical nature of like life and how you can think that you're over something and then it all just cycles again. And I think it touches a lot of people in different places, especially with regards to things like addiction, but also like relationships, and that kind of thing. And I think that it's quite personal to me just because like every time I listen to it, I'm like, oh, that still applies. Like it's like 2018 was when we like released it, but it's been like 2017, it's 2023 now, and it's like, oh, 6 years on, the thing's still the same, and it's like, oh, I guess it all is cycles, but I think it's nice when you write about something that was like part of your life then and can influence people in different ways as well. Even if it's really personal to you, it can be personal to them. So.
Absolutely right.
Yours.
That's a good way to end the first part.
Yeah,
We'll be back with a couple of Q&As for part 2, and we'll see you there.
What's happening, guys? It's Conor Michael here, and to let you know that my latest single, Horse Outside, is available now, only on Spotify, because with it technically being a cover, it's not on iTunes. So make sure you stream it. For some reason, Glasgow's really took off, Newcastle not so much. Horse Outside, Spotify. Check it out. Enjoy the rest of the podcast. Nay!
Right, we all ready?
Roll, man.
Yeah.
Welcome back to part 2 of the Off the Stage podcast. We have Ella Moss, Conor Michael, James Berry, and I'm really bad at doing this. We are in a new place called the Dubliner on the quayside in Newcastle. Usually we do record in Sunderland, but this is part of a sequence of a special.
Yeah.
I'd say Dubliner special. Yeah, welcome back, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I mean, to us, we haven't really moved from the first part. So question 1 for this part is, what's your favourite gig story? Either a gig you've been to, attended, or played.
That's so difficult.
Are you gonna say Scooby-Doo?
Scooby-Doo is good.
You want to see Scooby-Doo?
You want to talk about Scooby-Doo?
I was also tempted to talk about Michael.
Rocky.
Oh yeah. All right.
I don't know.
We get copyrighted for Scooby-Doo.
No, we don't get copyright.
Yeah, so basically we started adding into our set a Scooby-Doo cover, and it's literally just the theme song from Scooby-Doo.
What's a Scooby-Doo?
Exactly, yeah.
Well, we put it in as a Halloween cover we put on a Halloween gig recently.
Yeah.
And when we finished that song, people were like, play it again! And we were like, we can't not.
It just like, for some reason, that song, the nostalgic vibes, everyone was just having a great time. You started running out into the audience, like passing the mic around and stuff.
So
like
I could
it's
dance.
Well,
So-
yeah, as you say.
very recently. That's a nice little thing.
How do you do a Scooby-Doo dance?
I usually, my go-to moves, because I'm a hardcore punk kid, are just like, the 2 steps, anything like that. But, just got to go with the flow.
Yeah, that's it. James did that. He had an emo party punk thing the other day.
Yeah,
and he was
downwards.
meant to lip sync, and he just did hair swirls.
Well, because I didn't really I knew the song, but I didn't know the lyrics of the song. So lip sync for your life, you've just got to avoid people looking at the lips. You've got to be just moshing and stuff. Look at my hair all bloody tangled up. I mean, I came third, to be fair, so it must have worked. Yeah, exactly.
Isn't there like that? There's like that Drag Race episode where the person like has a mask over their face and does the lip sync, and you're like, they can't see your lips moving. They're like, can you remove the mask, please? They just hadn't learnt the song.
Oh, that's an idea. Like COVID, let's go put the mask on first. Hey.
But there's been some crazy times, like with Ellen Moss. Like we got to play like Why Not Festival a while ago, and like there was people like Jamiroquai there. Like I realised like the other month that like Sam Fender was there in like 2018. He obviously wasn't as big as he is now, and he plays St James's and stuff like that. And yeah, just crazy stuff like that where like it ended up raining, and so loads of people came in, and like the stage was like shaped like a boat. And I was like at the front, which I guess would have been like the mast, and just like playing the bass to all these bits. It's just sick stuff like that where you're just like, I'm so glad that I have those memories, but you obviously can't. It's hard to convey over the feeling in the moment.
It was a pretty cool gig because, like he says, like it rained, so everyone came into this tent. So we started off with like 3 people there, and then we ended up with like 40, 50 people packed out the tent. And then the Manic Street Preachers were playing, so everyone left to go watch them. Like for our last 3 songs, so I will never forgive them for that. The Manics, not the audience.
Yeah, I suppose. The audience will come back though. They always do.
They always do.
So we put an Instagram post up earlier today just to kind of like see if anybody had any questions, and we've got a question from @Mrs. Berry Insta. It says, "Who is the band member with the best fashion sense?"
Is it me?
Who is it?
Well, yeah, it's probably me. I think it's probably me. I think. No, I don't know. I mean,
Currently, I would probably vote yourself. Yeah.
I'm just a bit boring though
offense.
because I was at work before, but I used to like specifically wear flowery shirts. So maybe it's more of like if you like shit shirts, then you would like how I dressed on stage. But you've got like a cool like fashion sense as well. But I think it's like almost complete opposites because you're very much like punky kind of vibe, but not like super hardcore like emo stuff. Whereas I'm more like bright colours and just yin and yang, aren't we?
That's how you want to word it, yeah?
Yin and yang. And we've got a couple of rollover questions from Larry Page, which this is the weird time travel bit. To us, he's the last person we record the podcast with. To you guys, his episode will be out in 2 weeks. So, first question is, what's your best heckle you've had at a gig?
We don't get many heckles really, do we? Which is surprising because me in particular, I'll give out a whole bunch of like anarchist sort of spiel. So you know what I mean? Anyone that's politically charged is like, that's wide open for heckling, but we don't really get much, do we?
I think like as well, we're very much like, we've always been on stage, like we're there to have fun, so we really don't take it like super seriously. So if somebody says something, especially if it's like, oh, play this, we'll probably just play a couple seconds of it because like we're like, oh, we probably know it. So we're there to have fun, so we're like, yeah, whatever.
We had I don't think it counts as a heckle, but we've got a song called Pluripotent, and in the middle of that there's like a breakdown, and then I do a spoken word piece, and then it stops for like a split second, and then we go back in. And in that split second silence, there's a guy called Michael that we met on the night, and I don't know how, but like the gods made it so that he's our biggest fan ever, and he happened to have stumbled across us that night. So there's a split second of silence, and like, you know, a bit of tension in the room, and he just went, oh wow. Couldn't have asked for better. It was really good.
Oh, that's great. You re-record that song or record that song, you've got to have Michael just in the background. Oh wow. And just
He's like some mythical creature. Like, I don't think we could summon him. I think like it has to be a certain
It's like
mood or
Nanny
something.
McPhee, isn't it? Like if you need him,
he's there.
he's there, but if you want him, he's not.
If you leave a microphone in your garden overnight,
He'll be there.
you check in the morning, you might have recorded it.
Yeah. Well, you're sleeping. You never know. Next question from Larry was, when did you start playing music?
I think I started playing guitar when I was maybe 14, I guess.
I don't know why you're looking at me. I don't know.
I was waiting for your answer.
Oh, sorry.
I was
Right.
looking at you.
I started playing guitar really early. Like, I think I started playing when I was like 8.
Oh, wow.
I had lessons for a couple of years and then had just stopped because like lessons are expensive and stuff like that. But I always like had a guitar around. And then I really didn't play for a long time, apart from like I used to play in bands with my friends, and I actually played guitar then, and then after that I played like drums, and I was like a jazz drummer. Not a very good one, but I was a jazz drummer.
What's your opinion on jazz, James?
Well, you know me.
I do.
The theory that jazz doesn't exist. It's just what really good musicians say, just to troll people. Just so like this is C diminished seventh mate. There's no such chord as that. It's just they just say that just to make themselves sound smart. But they can do that because they're such good musicians. That's like it's like the inward joke. But you've got to be in jazz for people to actually kind of like go, by the way, this isn't really as good. I know that, it's fine. And you're like, no. Anyway.
As long as it's an odd number afterwards, you're like, yeah, I'm playing C47. And they're like,
Yeah.
wow, that sounds so good.
Yeah, that's so creative. I'm like, no.
Yeah, then it must have been when I was about like 16, 17, I'd come back to playing the bass, and I really like then played from then on. So that was like 2014, 2015. So I would say like probably 9 years of like playing the bass properly. But when people are like, how long have you been playing? And you're like, oh damn, I've been playing for so long and I'm not like that good.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard to gauge. But yeah.
And then the final question from Larry is, when do you think you'll ever stop?
Death.
I was just going to say death, so I'm glad he said it as well, because that means that we've got a death pact going there.
We've got a contract with this pub that we start to play 20 years after we die.
No.
Just all the unreleased stuff.
Yeah. And then we just need 3 questions for next week's guest as well.
Right, this again has been...
Again, is very time traveling because it's going to be the person who was on the week before. But for us, it's Jack.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Great episode. We haven't recorded yet.
I saw that as well. I know Jack. I've done some stuff with Jack before.
Yeah.
Like even arty things. So maybe we should ask him about that. Now
Go
that we
for
know
it.
that it's Jack.
Yeah, go for it. He's on in the next hour.
This has been like a source of much contention because we can't decide on questions very easily. But the big one, the one that we all agreed on, was when you snore, do you snore like honk shoe or honk me me me?
What?
So when you snore, do you go honk shoe, or do you go honk me me me?
Okay, I get you.
You get.
I don't know.
think so.
Well, my wife will have to
I think
answer
I'm
that one for me, to be honest, because you don't know you snore. You just someone goes, you snore, and it's like, no, it wasn't. You don't know you're snoring.
But like even if you don't snore, which one do you identify with?
I guess.
Because I'm very much a honk me 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 kind of guy.
Me. I'm a honk so.
Probably the honk Sue.
Trying to figure out how to
Honk
spell this
Sue.
question.
Yeah.
My God, we've done it. We beat the podcast.
Yeah.
We've used our 2 brain cells and we've broken everyone.
Oh
when the
yeah,
Power
I
Rangers
get it
combine.
now. Yeah. So it's like,
Yeah,
there we go.
There we
You got
go.
it.
yeah, no, I'm definitely the first one. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is that-
me too.
No.
You're a honk.
We've got a third option.
Yeah, it's the blow up. All right then. Second snory question.
This one comes from my good friend Luke Matson. Shout out to Luke Matson. If you had to hide a giraffe from the government, how would you do it? And it's got to be alive, by the way. Can't kill the giraffe. That defeats the purpose. But it's like full scale. Governments look like Jason Bourne kind of. The
So like
government's after this giraffe.
this giraffe holds the information to like top secret.
How
Yeah.
long are you got to hide the giraffe for? It's just like you've got 24 hours to hide a paperclip in the house.
Yeah.
Where do you hide it?
I'd say it's like GTA. Like you got to get rid of the 5 stars. So it's like not an actual time period, but it's just until they're
Until it
outside your
dies out.
vicinity.
Just till everything blows up. Though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a great question for Jack.
I've got a few.
Surely a zoo.
I've got a few top answers for that.
Just like I don't know which one's which.
Why is that one in with the rhinoceros? James, you put it in the wrong one again. Sorry, yeah,
Hiding
I'm
in
just
plain
picturing-
sight.
trying to picture
Yeah.
a hiding giraffe.
We'll answer this.
No, these,
last
you
week.
need to answer them as well. Yeah, this
Yeah,
is.
we will do.
Do we answer? Is it last week that this one is out?
Yes,
So we'll have to answer this one
yeah.
last week.
I love this.
How big's a giraffe?
It's a giraffe.
I would like it's a baby giraffe.
No, big giraffe.
Big, proper size
Big
giraffe.
giraffe. We're talking like what, 3, 4, 5 meters tall? I don't know. You're the biologist. How tall's a giraffe?
How tall is a giraffe?
What happens if the giraffe dies when you're
Game
hiding
over.
it?
Game over.
Game over. This giraffe has got like the secrets to save the world.
It's Ellie from The Last of Us.
And it's just till it dies down, isn't it? It's like if we hid it in the monument statue until like everyone would, and then let it loose.
Yeah, it could work.
Monument's a good shout, to be fair.
I'm just like, you can get inside there, can't you? I don't think it'd fit in the door, to be fair.
No. Oh yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Well, we can discuss this last week with Jack.
It's a thinker. It's a thinker.
Yeah.
Don't rush
In
your
plain
answer.
sight, maybe.
Yeah.
Just start walking around with it, and people would be like, "Is that the giraffe?" Nah, they wouldn't be walking around with a giraffe if it was the most wanted giraffe in the world. People be like, "That's what they think."
If you paint it black and white, people think it's a cow
Or a zebra with a long neck.
Very.
or a zebra with a long neck. Depends on how you paint it. All about the pattern.
Same family. I think, is it?
I don't know.
Zebra. I'm sure zebra's the same family.
They're all horses.
Yeah.
Final question, sorry.
We have to ask this because we're musicians.
Okay.
Do you play drums or know anyone that does?
Is that because you're looking?
That's because every band at all
Yeah.
times is looking for drummers.
I already know
Can we
the answer
give you
to this one.
because we've had him on before as the drummer of a band called
Yeah.
High Mind.
I was going to say I do know Jack and he plays the drums. Just because I know Jack, I'd like to know the answer to this. What would you say, how does your other artistic ventures influence your music?
You've broken the
That's a
system
good
now.
question
4
specifically for Jack, actually. Because
Don't worry, we're not going to ask the drummer one.
I mean, we already know the answer, so...
He is the drummer of High Mind.
So he's like, yes,
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 yes and yes.
Okay, next question.
I think there's only 3 drummers in the northeast of England, and they're in all the bands.
Yeah,
That's my
probably.
theory.
Yeah, it's Jack and Jack.
Yeah,
He had to bring his guitarist in to be your drummer.
yeah, that's right. So
Yeah. Cool. Thanks for part 2. We'll see you in part 3.
Yep, see you in a bit.
We're back, baby!
And welcome back to part 3.
Yeah, we're back. We still have Ellen Moss, or 2 of Ellen Moss, which none of which are Ellen Moss. And if you don't know why, I don't know why you've skipped part 1. Go back to watch that. 2024 is here now, as this gets released. What's in the pipeline for you guys?
So much
Quite a lot.
stuff.
Sorry, he's allergic to so much.
You know what?
I'm allergic to 2024.
2024 is kind of the year that we've said it's all go, no stop, because we've had like a lot of stopping and starting this year, just because we've just had like lots go on, unpredictable things kind of, and we were like, well, we've got so much like written, a lot recorded, ready to go. It'd be a shame to like, you know, just gradually let it go. We could just have one year where it's like a fiery blaze of Ellen Moss.
Yeah.
I think as well, like when we were writing music in 2018, we were students and we didn't have much money, and you know, like most people, you've got all the time when you're a student and no money.
Yeah.
And so we had all this time. We wrote some songs. We didn't write as many songs as we have now, but we wrote some songs and we recorded some of them, but we still had other songs. And then that was in, 2017, 2018. And we've basically like just kept going. And like even when we were like on like hiatus or whatever, Lewis and I were still writing music. It's just something that naturally we do. Like that's kind of why before we were like, we're not stopping until we die, because it's just something ingrained in us. Yeah. And so we've got a massive backlog of songs, and we've basically got to the point now where like we made our record label where we were like, let's just do it. Like let's just record stuff. We've got everything that we need to record. We can, learn how to mix, learn how to master, take people along on this journey with us. And so 2024, we're basically just it's a bit ridiculous when we think about it. We're releasing an album and 3 EPs, which is like a bit crazy, to be honest. But we like have the pipeline ready, and we're really committed to it. And we're just wanting to like get as much out there as possible, and hopefully like as we release stuff, people will kind of get interested and want to join us on the journey, not just from a viewing point, but also like to be on the songs. We're very much that collaborative element. We want people who have never been able to have that experience of being in music to be in music, even if it's a small part or a big part or anything like that. And so but we've started up I'm just going to go on a little ramble here, but
go for it, man.
We started up a weekly segment called Word Wednesday, where we release a poem every week.
Oh, that's cool.
And effectively it doesn't have to be a poem, but they have been so far, but effectively it's just words. So it could be lyrics, it could be anything, and we have it written down, and then whoever has written the poem, for example, then speaks their part as well, so you can get that kind of rhythm of it.
And on Instagram or anything?
Yeah, it's on Instagram. Yeah, sorry. So at Ellen Moss Band, is it Ellen Moss Band?
I believe it's Ellen Moss Band, yes.
Yeah. And so we've already done 4 of those, but if we could get 52 of them next year, that would be incredible. I think. And I would really love. Sam never wrote a poem. Sam is our guitarist, and he was inspired by one of the poems that we did, and he wrote one, and we released it as the 3rd one. And if we could, that warms my heart. I love that,
and it was good.
It was so good.
Whose first attempt is good? And he just did a good one. I was like, how could you? I felt betrayed.
And for other people to feel empowered to get pen to paper and to release something, even if it's just to our little Instagram page. That would make me so happy. So if in 2024 we could get even one more person to do that would be incredible.
Yeah.
In terms of the music though, so we said earlier we've got the Home album coming out. That's the only one we've got a fixed date for yet. That's the 26th of January. And we'll release a few singles on the build up to that. Mm-hmm. You know how it goes. Yeah. So currently halfway through recording the 2nd EP, which will be Concerning, and that's pretty nifty. The title is Concerning. Each song It's called Concerning the Something.
Okay.
I'll play you a song off that in a little bit. And then after that we've got Living Miserably, which I mentioned earlier.
So hard to remember them all.
We've
Like
got
trying to
so
go through
much.
my mind. Like which
This
one?
is years worth of backlog all coming out, hopefully in 1 year. And sometimes as well. So like what happened with Home is it started off as an EP. Around this time last year, I took a couple of weeks off work to record all my stuff for it.
Yeah.
And it was going to be something like 4 tracks. And I said, semi-jokingly to the rest of the band, I was like, the longer you guys leave it to record your parts, the more I'm going to add to this. And we haven't yet finished it, and it's now a full album.
Yeah.
So that could happen with any of these, really.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've got those coming out, and then what's the other one? Before We Burn Under the Light of the Sun is the other EP that we're going to release next year.
But they're all kind of, not exactly, but they're kind of concept albums. So Home is about roughly the themes of home.
Yeah.
Concerning is very much like about experiences that we had over these years that has kind of like really influenced who we are now.
Well, initially for our concept for the Concerning EP started off that independently we had written songs sort of about girls, so like our working titles with that girl's name, and we were like, oh, it'd be really cool to release like, even if it was just a 4-track EP and each one's a song about a different girl, and then we're like, oh, but it's way too obvious to do that. And then we're like, well, what if we give it a really long, like, you know how emo bands give it a crazy long name, like what if we do that, so it's like concerning the flammability of buildings, concerning the integrity of doors and windows. I think that was like the initial.
I think like making concepts and themes with EP and albums, I think it's more important than ever now, because nowadays most people say release them as singles, but I think if you've got a specific theme of like, this EP is about this, it says more about the collective rather than the individual songs, and it makes the individual songs more trying to think of the word, gives a bit more value, a bit more emotion.
We're very emotion driven. I can't speak for you, but I never sit down and try to write to a theme. I don't sit down and go, I'm going to write a song about this girl. I'll write a song, or maybe sometimes I'll write 3 or 4 songs and just leave them on the shelf, like they're finished, I don't know what I'm going to do with them yet. And then after like way too long has passed and I finally processed it, I'm like, wait a minute, those 4 songs are all about the same thing, the same feeling, the same things that happen to me. So like that's
the same project.
Yeah. So in a way, it's a good job that we've got this massive backlog, because we can, in hindsight, go, well, hang on, these 5, even though they weren't written at the same time, with the same thing in mind, like that's the same story.
Yeah, we end up finding narratives in what we do, I think, and like even if you listen to the stuff we had before, which is on Spotify, like Eclipse, the whole idea was roughly about cyclical natures of things. Not all the songs are like called The Cycle, one of them is, but the whole idea was that like going into more of the like quote unquote wanky stuff, it's like a circular novella, like of Mice and Men and stuff like that, where the beginning is the end and the end is the beginning, and there's, you know, it's a circle, there's no, you don't see the stitching, and so and we didn't intend for that to happen, but as we started listening we were like, oh, these are the running themes and stuff. But I can't remember what the theme is for the last EP.
Which one?
The other one,
Before We Burn
Under the Light.
So Before We Burn Under the Light of the Sun, sort of about, it's like a call to action, the idea being that the sun will inevitably destroy the earth, but it was sort of the frame was, if we don't do something to stop like the horrible things that happen in the world, it's going to take us, like being complacent is the worst thing we could possibly do. So it's sort of a bit of a call to action on all the like, I think most of our songs are politically charged, but the ones that are very like obviously politically charged, they sort of sit in that one at the minute.
That's cool. That's something to look forward to for next year. And do you have any other local artists that you can give a shout out that people should go check as well?
So many. Obviously the one for us, our absolute heroes are Circus. I grew up in Sheffield with Danny, the bass player. Wrong one. I was thinking about you. I grew up with Danny, the drummer, and Aidan was their bass player for a while. And we always play gigs with them just because they're our favourite people in the whole world.
They're like, I wouldn't consider them like glam rock at all, but they very much like have an aesthetic like glam rock, but not as in they dress like that, but as in they have an aesthetic on stage, and it's very like, it's classic rock, and just melds these beautiful melodies with like complexity of like different time signatures, but it's also cohesive, and they're just like wonderful people and amazing art. And they had a I'm just gonna promo them, but they had a release pretty recently called Forever in a Day, and it's an amazing song and you should listen to it. It's been on like the radio and stuff, but it's like an ode to a Russian artist, and like that just tickles like my like, I'm like, oh yes, because I love, you know, the mix of art and music. So but yeah, they're just wonderful human beings and great musicians.
Sure, I've heard the name. I feel like, do they do many gigs up here? Or is it all?
Yeah,
I think they mainly play a few like surrounding places, but they're mainly a Newcastle band, aren't they?
Yeah,
because we do a gig guide every Monday where we advertise local bands. That we say. I'm sure I've seen the name a few times on the posters.
I don't think we've put on a single KYL Records gig without Circus on.
Yeah,
because they're dead reliable. If you say, oh, we're putting a gig on, they don't pull out, and you know they always come and give like a really good show.
Yeah,
they're lovely people to hang around with, and the music's just so good. Like they're one of my favourite bands to listen to.
Yeah,
honestly, we can't speak highly enough of them.
Yeah.
Cool.
And then for, I know you touched on this before, but for people to come and follow you guys online, what are your social tags on all your social medias?
It's mainly like at Ellen Moss Band. So on Facebook, it's like Ellen Moss Band. I don't think people use Facebook anymore, but when we first started, Facebook was a big thing.
Yeah,
so it was Ellen Moss Band. Instagram is Ellen Moss Band. We've got like Linktree and stuff, which is also Ellen Moss Band. If anybody wants to get in contact with us, similarly, it's like ellenmossband@gmail.com. So the branding's pretty similar, but for KYL Records, it's just that KYL Records.
No, it's not. It's Kill Your Landlord Records.
Is it?
Yeah, spelled out in full. Don't listen to this man.
It's Kill Your Landlord Records then. It's
Gonna say, that sounds like a radio station until he said kill your landlord. It's like, we used to listen to KYL 103.2. Anyway, it's just my brain going, ignore me.
I think we've got quite a bit on YouTube as well at the minute. Just because
that's the other thing.
we keep finding like footage that we didn't realise we had, and we're like, might as well put it on YouTube.
Yeah,
absolutely right.
You know?
And like tutorials and stuff. If people want to learn how to play our songs, we started doing that because people keep coming up to us at gigs and being like, oh, can you, like, that's sick, can you do tabs for us? And we're like, yeah, of course we can, but like we should probably. So we've recorded like the whole first EP. There's tutorials for, and you know, around our busy schedules, well, I'm editing them, but there's a couple on there already, but they'll be released as and when. But yeah, we're very much at the whim of the people. We want it to be a collective thing. So if somebody wants something, we're like, yeah, of course we will. It's not you and us, you know, you and them. Sorry, it's us. So
that's cool. Well, thank you very much for coming down, guys. Go check out Ellen Moss on the socials. If you haven't already, follow us. We are at Off the Stage UK. A final question for yourself: what song are you going to play for us?
I'm going to play a song from the Concerning EP called "Concerning the Flammability of Buildings." It's got a really nice story behind it. If you want to hear it.
Yeah, of course.
I was in two minds about, do I want to hear it via song or beforehand?
I'll give you the context.
Go on.
So I went to a gig earlier in 2023 at World HQ in Newcastle, and this
I know where this is going.
Are you on about the fire? Yeah. So as the title suggests, there was
a park over there for gigs.
Yeah, so there was a big fire, and but the gig didn't get cancelled.
All right.
So I went to this gig. It was like running late or whatever. And I met this girl, and we had like we just spent the rest of the night like walking around the quayside and whatever. I was head over heels for her and all this, and in the end she she wasn't interested. She fired me off. But the day after I'd met her, it was like, I'm not sure if you get this as a songwriter, but sometimes it's like a song is given to you fully formed, and there was no effort in writing it. It just came out like that. So that's what that song's about. I just think it's nice that something that is objectively bad, like fires, actually ended up with one of the only happy Ellen Moss songs that we have.
Putting my hand on a fire.
Your house was.
I also
on fire.
had a house fire. What part of the home EP is about me losing a home to a house fire?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, fire's a plague in this band. Really.
I was about 5 minutes away from that.
Yeah.
Dodged a bullet. I don't recommend it.
No, I came out with a couple of scars. But yeah, cool. We'll listen to the song. Thank you very much for coming down, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you so much.
It's been lovely.
It's been good. Yeah, we'll see you in part 4.
Yeah. See you later. Thank you very much.
left glitter upon my face. The night we kissed after the gig, you took my hand, said it was cold. The river water black as coal. Black smoke decorated the sky. The building next door had caught fire. The color matched your eyeliner. Said I should come see you at work. In this stupid city I've only known pain. But when I met you, the stars spelled your name in the sky. Spelled your name in the sky. The sky. Oh Lauren, you made me feel like no random guy. Oh Lauren, well maybe Prince Daddy got it right. Oh Lauren, you told me all about your life. The highs and the lows and the places you will go, and the people, the need to be indefinable. You gave me your jacket so I would come see you again. Oh Lauren, I'd have to be dumb in the head to let you slip. Thank you.